Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Average Joe Dividends YouTube channel. If you've been following this journey, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe so that you do not miss future videos. Also, please click the like button to help grow this channel and get the word out on dividend growth investing. Getting paid just for owning stocks. This is what dividend growth investing is all about. This is my weekly buy video. My current strategy is to deposit $100 of my own money per week and let the portfolio do the heavy lifting for me going forward. All dividends received are reinvested back into that stock from which it was received. My goal is to put this money to work for me in the long term to build a growing and reliable income stream. I'm a long-term buy and hold investor who focuses primarily on individual blue chip stocks as well as ETFs and CEFs. What we're looking at right now is my taxable M1 stock brokerage account, and right now the balance is at just over $229,000. This is about 15% of my net worth, so I'm really well diversified into ETFs. That's the foundation of my net worth. But I do like to buy some individual stocks, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. And of course, what I'm buying today is not investment advice. These are just stocks I'm picking that may be a good investment in the long term, or maybe just an investment to take a look at. So right now we're just going to take a look at the value of this portfolio. You can see it's kind of gyrated a little bit. It's gone below the $200,000 mark several times, and it's gone above the $200,000 mark. And you can see just as recently as late October of 2023, it was in the low 190s, but we're now back up nearly to $230,000, and that's due to the market recovery. We're very close to all-time highs in the stock market. I'm hearing a lot of people saying we are at all-time highs. We are not quite there yet. We're off by around a 1%, 2%, and I'll show you that in just a moment. We're not quite there yet because ETFs like VTI have not reached their all-time highs. They're at 52-week highs, but not all-time highs. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the activity log because I want to show you those 5 stocks that I purchased, and I'm also going to show you what that did to my dividend income, how it's going to increase it because I'm buying fractionals of these companies. And we'll also look at the overall performance of the portfolio. I'll show you the deposits as well as the income that I'm generating from this portfolio just simply for holding these shares of stocks. So without further ado, here's the trading I did. I deposited $100 and I didn't have any dividend drips. Those were already done before this video, or actually last week. I didn't receive any new dividends from the weekend or from the last video, so I didn't have any drips to show there. So first up, $20 went into Waste Management. They're kind of a silent good stock out there, known for good stock appreciation as well as good dividend growth. And Johnson & Johnson was my next pick. Another one too. Not so much in the growth of the stock recently, but Johnson & Johnson has just been really reliable and steady for providing, that 5% dividend growth year after year after year. Sometimes it's more. And same with Coca-Cola. They're good for that 4 to 5% annually, so I put $20 into them. And Coca-Cola will be announcing a dividend increase here soon. I think it's February or March. We'll check in my tracking sheet in just a bit. Kroger, they're also known for like double-digit dividend growth, and their stock hasn't been doing the greatest lately, so I decided to put $20 into Kroger. And Starbucks is also another consistent dividend increaser. I think their last was at 8%. So, and also Starbucks has been down. They've been over the $100 mark, but they've been in the low 90s. So I thought I'm going to add just a little bit more of Starbucks. And so what we'll do is in just a moment, we're going to see what these buys did to my dividend income. But I'm going to show you a tracking sheet first. And I'll leave a link below so you can take a look at this and see how I track all the individual positions in my stock portfolio. I do have quite a few, but you can see here though, SCHD is the largest position with the market value of $87,000. So $87,000 of the 229 is an SCHD alone. But we can see I have the company ticker symbol, the share price, which uses a simple Google Finance function to pull that, and the number of shares that I have in each position. I'm using the VLOOKUP in the M1 data tab down below to the right. We're actually going to paste some information into the M1 data tab so I don't have to type in the new shares for the 5 positions where I bought more those fractional shares, and I also don't have to change the cost basis because I can just pull that from M1 and it's going to update that automatically. And you can see the gain or loss in each position. You can see in like a Vista, I am down in that position. Anything where I have a 10% or greater gain or loss, I'm showing it in green. And we can see the dividends paid per share, and these are quarterly. Same with SCHD. I highlighted SCHD in purple because it's variable. I'm expecting a much lower dividend in the first quarter, so we're going to see this dividend income drop momentarily because SCHD has historically announced a lower Q1 dividend, and I don't see that changing, but I see it going up in June, September, and December. And I do have a couple monthly payers in here, and I've put those in blue, and that's Realty Income that pays me every month, as well as BST. You can see that paycheck from BST that I can rely on month after month just from that position alone. But we can see also the yield percentage and the yield on my cost. You can see the yield on my cost for Apple, for example, is higher because I have a gain in that position. But you can see, for example, in a Vista, it has a higher yield if you were to purchase new shares today at a 5.47 compared to what my yield on cost is. So a few of these I'm upside down in, but for the most part you can see like an Exxon where it pays a respectable 3.7%, but the yield on cost and my investment in Exxon is over 8%. And we'll look at this is how I have this sheet organized. It is sorted by the pay date because I want to know when I'm getting paid and also how much. And the estimated dividend, this is the high watermark I've bought up to. And also you can see here, this is the dividends that have paid me. I'm showing just for January. So we're in the light green, and we're in the first quarter of we're in the first month of Q1 of 2024, so we are in the light greens right now for January. And I'm going to do a quick count up of the dividends received so far for January. I've received a total of $156.16. Of course, there's 2 more dividends for me to receive. That's the BST and JP Morgan. We can see the total dividends received from each of these investments. You can see like a BST, I've received over $4,500 in dividends just from BST alone. And I also track the increase, the dividend increase for each of these. You can see Air Products, the last dividend increase they announced in November was 12%. So I'm tracking those because just remember, when you buy dividend paying stocks, some of them increase their dividend year after year after year. Like a Pepsi, it's been decades, and their last one was a healthy 10% dividend. You can see if Pepsi keeps giving 10% dividends year after year, that dividend they're paying is going to double in very short order in less than 10 years. And 10 years, I'm telling you, it goes by really quick as an investor. And so to double what you're making in dividends it's huge just for doing nothing. I don't know, at least in my job, I didn't double my income in 10 years staying in the same job. So that just usually doesn't happen. But with dividends, it can happen if you pick good companies that increase their dividend year after year and in a good clip, like a 7, 8, 9, 10%. It really adds up. So the sheet also tracks, the total market value. So I don't have to go to M1 constantly to see what my portfolio is worth. It already shows it. Here's my cost basis for the portfolio, and here's my gain loss total for the portfolio. This is the average yield of my investments, and this is the average yield on cost of my investments. Here's the quarterly earnings I can expect with this portfolio at 27.51.32. Since I have some monthly pairs, I have to add those monthly pairs in 2 times. You can see the math there, the G67 times 2, so I can get the quarterly. And here I show the monthly average. I take the quarterly and divide it by 3. And we can see here's the quarterly and the annual. So I'm actually over $11,000. But it looks like the math, it takes the annual and divides it by 12 to get the 917. I think it's important to show an average monthly dividend because it's lumpy. With the highest paying months are the last months in the quarter, which are highlighted here in the dark green, which are your March, June, September, and December. I get paid the least in January, or all these months right here. So what I do is I take the quarterly and average it out for the month. You can see the 917.11. So this is going to change, this monthly, quarterly, annual. It's going to go up some because I've bought some fractional shares. So what I do is I'm going to go to the holdings tab of M1, and we're going to grab all that data and we're going to copy it into the M1 data tab. And what this shows is all of my positions with the highest SCHD you can see at the top. And it's going to, at the lowest, we'll see what my lowest position is as far as value is Air Products right now at the 577.70. So really the data we're going to be grabbing is the number of shares and the cost basis. And I'll show you how it's going to extract that into the sheet. I don't have to use Plaid or Service to do this or do any manual typing. I just go to my M1 data tab and paste in this information. Values only, and it's going to line up all this information. It's going to change the shares of those 5 positions where I purchased more shares. It's going to change the shares and cost basis of those. I didn't buy any more SCHD, so it's going to remain the same. So we're going to go over to the dividend portfolio tab, and now we have a new monthly cash flow average of 917.31. Very modest. I'm going to update this over on my monthly average dividend tracking tab. We'll put the 917.31, and I track everything from dividend drips to deposits to any dividend raises I receive as well. So this is just a little ledger here, 917.31. This is just the result of the $100 deposit. So it added 20 cents additional of income with the $100 deposit. It doesn't sound like much, but just take a look at things like Black Hills. They announced a 4% dividend increase that added 24 cents to my monthly income. American Express, same thing. They had a dividend raise, 21 cents, and Air Products had a really small dividend raise of 1%. So it's counting everything small, but when things like SCHD, when they announce a dividend raise, it's quite significant because I own a lot more shares. And you can see like SCHD, when they raised their dividend to 74 cents, it increased my monthly income by $32.50 going forward. But in March, that's going to erode a little bit. I'm going to say between $10 and $14. It's going to lower my monthly income temporarily until June, September, and especially December 24. It's going to increase it probably even more than this $32.50. So it's a little bit give and take. It's with SCHD, you just have to expect a little bit of an erosion in March, and then it's given back in the other months, or the June, September, and December. It'll pay you back. So I'm going to jump over to the Dividend Tracker tab. I've been doing these videos and tracking this portfolio since January 2021. We can see the portfolio value. We started at $18,700. First dividends paid in January, $37.41. We'll fast forward to right now. We're at December 2020. Excuse me, we're in January 2024, and you can see the portfolio value rounded to the nearest 100 is $229,200. Dividends paid so far. We can see the average monthly dividend. I started tracking this back in May of 2021, just over $50, over $917.31, and I've increased the monthly average dividend in January alone by $4.49, with a month-over-month gain of 0.49%. So you can see my annual dividend income is climbed over the $10,000 mark to the $11,000 mark, and I've added to my annual revenue $53.92. I put in another $100, so there were 5 Mondays in January, it looks like. So I've put in $500 in deposits. You can see back here I did a huge dumping of money, and this is the result of equity in a home I no longer own, and I wanted to put this money to work for me. So I was putting in $10,000 per week and buying up things, mostly SCHD and BST, as well as increasing the amount of shares in the other positions that I have. And if you're curious of all the other positions that I own, I'll leave a link below so you can see what I'm invested in. Again, this is only 15% of my net worth. Most of my net worth is tied into like a VTI VU, and I have SCHD in an IRA as well. So I just recommend you have a strong foundation of well-diversified ETFs like that before you start buying individual things like this. And so a lot of people will comment and say, well, why not just have the ETFs and just call it a day? And the reason is I wouldn't have much to talk about in these videos, and plus I like tracking these companies as well. It's a hobby for me, so that's why I do it. And also, personal finance is very personal, and I would not tell you how to invest your money. So that is that. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show you, was what I bought, and I'll go into that here again with the 5 buys real quick. So I went with Waste Management, Johnson & Johnson, Coca-Cola, Kroger, and Starbucks. Let me know in the comments below what you're buying this week, or what you think of these picks. And thanks for sticking to the end. If you got value from this video, please click the like button. Also subscribe so that you do not miss future videos. I'll be doing a video here soon on all of the dividends I received for January. I'll go over those one by one and show you the proof in the activity log of M1. So I'm just not going over a spreadsheet. I'm going to show you the proof that I'm receiving these dividends. I also do a budget video, and it's not as popular as my stock videos, but I think it's probably much more important, because if you don't have a gap in your budget, you have no money to invest and to build wealth. Thanks again, everyone, for sticking to the end, and I hope everyone has a great week. Everybody take care.